SlamBall is a form of basketball played with 4 trampolines in front of each net and boards around the court edge. The name SlamBall is the trademark of SlamBall, LLC. Professional SlamBall games aired on television with Spike TV for 2 seasons in 2002-2003, and the POWERade SlamBall Challenge was aired on CSTV, now CBS Sports Network, in 2007. SlamBall returned in August 2008, airing on Versus, now NBC Sports Network, and CBS. The 2008 SlamBall season aired at one point on weekends on Cartoon Network. SlamBall was shown on 1HD in Australia during 2009. SlamBall held its first major international tournament in China in 2012. Rules and regulations. Scoring is achieved by putting the ball into the net at the opponent's end of the court for points, while preventing the opposing team from doing the same at one's own net. The aim is to have outscored the opposing team when the game ends. A successful score can be worth 2 points if the ball is thrown through the hoop without the offensive player touching the hoop. Slam dunks are scored 3 points. All shots outside the three-point arc are worth 3 points as well. 4 players from each team may be on the court at one time. Substitutions are unlimited and can be done during play. Each team has a coach and additional staff, which includes assistant coaches, managers, statisticians, doctors, etc. The game is controlled by 2 referees and the table officials. The table keeps track of the score, time, team possessions, fouls, and the shot clock. Playing regulations. Games are played in 4 6-minute quarters, unlike the NBA, which plays for 4 12-minute quarters. The game commences with a bounce-off, in which the ball is bounced at center court. The ball must reach its apex uninterrupted, at which point the players are allowed to check each other. 10 minutes are allowed for a half-time break. Only 1 timeout is permitted to each team, which may only be used during the last 2 minutes of regulation play. A 15-second shot clock is utilized. Teams change ends for the second half. A tie score at the end of regulation time is settled by a series of face-offs. Positions. Each team has 4 players on the court at any one time. There are 3 positions. Handler. This is the primary ball handler on the team. It is his job to run the offense and organize the other members while controlling the flow of the game. Typically he would be responsible to set up the gunners to attack the basket while adding in his own offensive threat, comparable to a point guard in basketball. Gunner. The primary scorer on the team. A team's gunner will be the player on the team that will attack the basket and finish plays against the opposing team's stopper, comparable to a forward or wing player in soccer or hockey. Stopper. This position is for the primary defensive player. He trails the offense only when necessary, and he protects the rim from attacking players by using himself as a shield. Goaltending is legal if the shot attempt is from inside the trampoline area. Teams are free to choose their own configuration, the usual formations being 1 stopper, 2 handlers, and 1 gunner, 1 stopper, 1 handler, and 2 gunners. Fouls. Each player can commit just 3 personal fouls before he is removed from the match. A coach or player displaying poor sportsmanship may be charged with a technical foul. 2 technical fouls results in a disqualification. When a foul is called, the player who has committed it will then take position on the baseline of the lower trampolines, while the player who was offended will take up offensive position at center court. This is called a face-off. Upon a signal from the referee, the offensive player will be free to mount an attack at the basket, which the defender now must endeavor to stop. The defender must enter the lower trampoline only after bouncing in from the side trampoline. If the offensive player is successful, then points will be awarded depending on the shot converted, and the offensive player's team will retain possession of the ball. In the case of any tie-ups, the defensive team always gain possession, but if the shot was blocked, the offensive team retains the ball from center court. List of common fouls. When an offensive player has the ball and a defensive player checks him in the back. Result: face-off. When an offensive player has the ball and a defensive player checks him before he has begun to dribble the ball. Result: face-off. When an offensive player has the ball and a defensive player checks him while he is attempting to enter the trampoline. Result: face-off. When two offensive players step bounce on the same trampoline. Result: turnover. When an offensive player bounces on a trampoline twice while in possession of the ball. Result: turnover. When either a player or the coach of a team argues with the referee and uses physical or verbal abuse in anger. Result: can either be a face-off or turnover. When two players from the same team are on the same island, a trampoline, or station as it is called. Result: turnover. 3-second violation. When any offensive player is stationed in an island area for 3 seconds. Result: turnover. When a shot is attempted from an island. Result: turnover. When the defense holds position on an island, a charge can be called against the opposition. Result: turnover. Popcorn effect. When a defensive player deliberately interferes with the offensive player's bounce, caused by standing on the offensive player's landing spot, to cause the equivalent of a trip in basketball. Result: face-off. Equipment. The spring floor lies adjacent to two sets of 4 trampoline or spring bed quads which dominate each end of the court. Each trampoline surface measures 7 feet by 14 feet. The shock-absorbent panels pair with the competition bed trampolines to create a unique playing surface that both launches players to inhuman heights and cushions the landing upon returning to the floor. Specifically engineered pads are designed to cover the frame rails, and the tapered design allows for maximum safety for on-court play. This entire playing surface will be surrounded with an 8-feet plexiglass wall, much like in a hockey rink. Players wear protective cups and special equipment to protect various areas of the body. This consists of knee and elbow pads, and an optional SlamBall-specific helmet. History. SlamBall was the creation of Mason Gordon, who wanted to create a combination of sports that approximated a real-life video game, and the name SlamBall is owned by Gordon's company. Upon developing the concept, Gordon approached Mike Tarlin, a TV and film producer of Smallville, Wild Hogs, and Coach Carter fame. After giving it some thought, he agreed to help Gordon. Painstaking thought was put into the development of the game. Many different ideas and concepts encompassing everything from court construction to team strategies were addressed. 6 months after the first meeting, a court was constructed in a warehouse in East Los Angeles, California. Gordon then tried to convince street basketball players to test his new idea. He wanted to find skilled, strong players who could compete comfortably while launching off trampolines and crashing into each other in mid-air. 5 recruits: James Willis, Sean Jackson, David Redmond, Michael Goldman, and Jeff Sheridan, trained with Gordon to produce the first games. These original 6 players were part of the first 2 teams, the Los Angeles Rumble and the Chicago Mob. These 2 teams played an exhibition series in 2001, which the Chicago Mob won. Soon, more players were brought in, including Stan Fletcher, Rob Wilson, and Dion Mays. First played in Los Angeles, the game gained attention from street basketball basketball players in the area. Within a year, 400 people had been enlisted as potential players. Open tryouts were held and the selection of players based on athletic ability, body control and court awareness started, reducing numbers to about 60 players. The first ever SlamBall Combine was held where players and coaches learned safety, the game and basic strategy. In 2002, SlamBall made its television debut on the national network. Soon after, former Philadelphia 76ers owner Pat Croce had signed on as a partner. 6 teams played in the inaugural season. Former NBA All-Star Reggie Theus served as studio co-host and color commentator. Real Sports served as the event organizers for the new league. SlamBall also aired on the British television station Trouble, and ESPN aired a feature on the new league. After the second season in 2003, SlamBall creator Mason Gordon and Warner Brothers Television had a disagreement. The league was dissolved. 5 years later, the league resurfaced for one more season. The league opened its doors to open tryouts. The first SlamBall draft in 2002 saw Canadian Robert Wilson drafted as the first No.1 pick ever in the sport. Before the second season of SlamBall debuted on the newly renamed Spike TV, 2 expansion teams were added and a new court was built at Universal City, California. In 2007, the POWERade SlamBall Challenge took place at Hoop City, a fan interactive event at the 2007 Final Four in Atlanta, Georgia, and aired on CSTV in April 2007. In Italy, SlamBall made its debut on Italia 1 on 16 July 2007. In 2008, SlamBall began planning for a new season, to be financed by IMG. The league accepted applications through its website for new players and coaches, and tryouts were held in 3 U.S. cities in April 2008. A training camp for the 2008 season of SlamBall was held at IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida from April to June 2008. Over 100 potential players participated in tryouts, eventually leaving 64 players after an 8-team draft. The league was cut to the 6 current teams. Some figures associated with the new season of SlamBall include Commissioner Pat Croce and coaches Kenny Anderson, John Starks, Raghib Ismail and Ken Carter. In summer 2008, SlamBall played its first season since 2003 at Universal City Walk in Universal Studios, California. These games aired in a Game of the Week format on Versus beginning the 31st of August and led up to the finals on CBS on the 2nd of November 2008. In the 2008 season championship, the Slashes, led by Ken Stapleton, defeated the Rumble. The coach of the Rumble was Ken Carter, of the famed Coach Carter. The season has aired on Australia's 1HD and Fuel TV. Media exposure. On television, the sport has been seen on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, One Tree Hill, King of Queens, Method and Amp, Red, ESPN's Sports Center, The Best Damn Sports Show period and Fuel TV. In print, SlamBall has been featured in the New York Times, Sports Illustrated, USA Today, Time and European editions of Maxim, GQ and FHM, Athletes and Training. Because of the nature of SlamBall, a broad scope is considered in the recruitment of the players. New players for the league have come from various areas. SlamBall has recruited players directly from college and pro basketball programs across the country. Football players are used to the full contact, up-tempo style of play, and many of the better players of SlamBall find their origins on the gridiron. Teams, current inactive seasons: 2002, 2003, 2008 past champions. Popular culture. In the 1989 movie Back to the Future Part 2, SlamBall was mentioned as one of Douglas J. Needle's favorite sports during a scene that took place in 2015. This fact was listed in the data bank captions shown on the video phone screen during a call between him and Marty McFly. SlamBall was also mentioned on the front page of a 2015 USA Today newspaper. The movie was released 13 years before SlamBall was ultimately founded in 2002. In the King of Queens episode Knee Jerk, Doug Heffernan lies to his wife Carrie about having a knee injury but is ultimately caught when she finds him playing SlamBall with his friends. In the One Tree Hill episode, Choosing My Own Way of Life, Nathan is offered a position on a SlamBall team. The storyline ran 5 episodes and featured several of SlamBall's top players. SlamBall was covered on VH1's Best Week Ever.